Hey, man.
What's up?
Have you ever heard of Barry Minko?
Barry Minko?
Yeah, it could be Minkow. Minkow. Cow. Minkow.
Oh.
Minkow.
No.
Minko? I think
show me a picture of Barry.
This is Barry Minko. Minkow.
Yeah, I like this guy.
What do you think
I think he sells workout DVDs. I think is this the P90X guy?
No. What would you think if you saw this picture of him?
That's not a picture. Is that a picture of him?
That's him.
Oh, wait. Does he sell vacuums? Is he a vacuum salesman?
You're warmer. You're definitely warmer.
Did he make vacuums?
No.
Okay,
he
so
didn't make
selling.
vacuums. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you describe him real quick?
Okay, so go back to the other one. Because in the other one, he's wearing like a muscle shirt, lime green. His teeth are super white. This picture has been photo touched. This was taken inside of a mall, one of those places that someone was like, "Hey, you're pretty hot," and he was like, "Hey, that's my daughter." And the photographer was like, "I was talking about you,
sir.
Look at your hairy arms and your forehead wrinkles."
This shirt is one of those.
So this
isn't just a muscle shirt. This is a muscle shirt where it's like
the tank top. Yeah. And I mean, like, and you know what? You're jacked. Good for it. You're the kind of jacked that you shave your chest. Yeah. That's a different kind of jacked, right? And so, but his teeth are super whitened in post. Those are not natural colored. So 100%. Go to the next one. Now he's wearing a polo.
50 something.
Yeah. And then this one, he's got less hair for sure. Definitely older. Still jacked. But he's wearing a polo and he's holding what I think is a vacuum and money is flying around him.
Yeah.
So
definitely looks like he's from New Jersey. Like you just look at him, you're like, this guy lives on the Jersey shore.
Yeah. Okay. So who is he? This is Barry?
Barry Minko is his name.
What's up with you, man? Oh, wow. I was heading out to the lake for the weekend. What are you up to? I just robbed my grandma. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I was calling a couple questions. One, I got this this check kiting thing I'm doing. Two, I do have like a big test coming up on Friday. Could you maybe help me make some flashcards? Things I learned last night.
Barry Minko, I think the best way to start his story is when he was 13 years old.
Okay.
He worked for a local carpet cleaning company. Oh. And while he worked for this carpet cleaning company, he's a hard worker, but I mean, he was a low-level employee doing carpet cleans.
What was why did this become a thing in I want to say 2004, maybe 2003?
Yeah.
Maybe 2006, maybe 2005. Maybe 2007. I was going to let you go. I was like, how long have you been doing it? No, but in the 2000s where people were selling Kirby vacuums. Okay? And this was
Kirby,
Kirby. K-I-B-R. Like the car. No, different thing.
Like the video game. Kirby?
Yes. And I'm thinking Herbie. You're right. Herbie fully loaded. Kirby, like the Pokemon.
It's not a Pokemon.
Okay. It's so easy to rage bait, Tim. That's so funny. And then but
I've never heard of these.
Do you know how people were selling what's the knives called? Stucco, something like that?
Yes.
So for some reason, the Kirby salesman became a thing.
Yeah, I've never heard of this.
And you would go door to door and do your pitch for selling vacuums. How expensive are they?
Let me see. They've got a website.
They're good vacuums. My grandma bought one.
Yeah.
My grandma got bought. She got by one of the door-to-door guys. And it lasted. I mean, she had it for however long time.
On their website, I just clicked the buy now button and it took me straight to their listing. It is the Platinum Vacuum with sound suppression system.
Yeah.
And it is a massive package. Vacuum and all the hoses and everything.
2,900?
2,849.
Yep.
That's crazy how close you
I've been looking at a lot of vacuums online lately. And you'll find out why soon. But
I think I might get you to talk about it in this episode.
Okay.
So he was doing...
Probably not.
He was doing carpet.
It could still fail. And right now it hasn't failed publicly.
That's fair. You got to keep it quiet until you're successful.
Yeah. Like my marriage.
I didn't tell you
we
I
were
was
married for 6 years before we told anybody.
Before I told anyone.
Just in case.
Just in case this doesn't work out.
Hey, Mom and Dad, I would like you to meet my wife. Just wanted to see if this was going to work out before I introduced her.
I can't tell anyone about her until she dies, because otherwise it's like, oh, what if we don't make it?
Yeah.
And then you create a relationship with her, and then it's
like a
awkward
whole
when it doesn't work
thing.
out.
I mean, like, gosh, and keeping the kids separate is so tough. You don't want your kids to meet their mom just in case it doesn't work out.
Just in case, yeah. You know how it is.
Yeah. That sounds like we're keeping her in the basement. She has her own house.
Well, this is your mom.
Hey, remember when we were texting each other about complaining about the state of the house that our wives leave stuff in?
Yeah.
Like and all the time. Yeah, which is like you guys have an excuse here. There's a child.
It's true.
There's not really an excuse on our end.
Well, you guys have 3 cats.
Oh yeah, that's why. That's why.
It's the same.
No, my wife definitely is like. My wife often will send me Bert Kreischer clips and be like, "Oh no, this is me." You know what I'm talking about? He talks about how he comes home from the road and like the house is like a tornado, and so my wife will be like, "Oh no."
Tell him about that time you walked into the laundry room while we were on the phone and she was in the laundry room and she needed your help.
Oh yeah. She was trying to get the lint out and she had fully gotten her hand stuck in the dryer,
like arm into the dryer.
And so like I'm on the phone with Tim and I just hear her going, "Sharon." And I was like, all right, let's see what this is. And I go in there and she's just fully, and she's like, "Can you get me the coconut oil?" And I was like, "For what?" Because I wanted her to say it. I wanted her to say, "My hand is stuck in the dryer."
Visually see it. He sent me a picture. It wasn't even like it was like kind of
no,
it was like a kid trying to steal from the claw machine.
Halfway up the like almost to the elbow. I'm like, "Where do you think the lint is?" Where do you think it is that it's that far in the dryer? So anyway, we text each other about the state of our house currently. And then we decided that what we're going to do is we're going to buy 2 houses next to each other where Tim and I can have a clean house on this side and our wives can live in a mess next door.
Yeah.
And we'll have a tunnel that connects them.
Yes, yeah.
And we can all just live in one big compound, but we can have some spaces.
That's your mom's house.
We can have some spaces that are sacred.
That house is your mom's house and also your best friend's mom's house.
Yeah. And it's not weird.
And it's not a weird thing. It's perfectly
not a weird
normal
thing.
to do that. It's a perfectly
and one day,
normal thing to do
once
that.
I'm sure it's going to last, I will introduce you to her.
You're not allowed to go through the tunnel.
Do not go through that tunnel.
Do not go through the tunnel.
So here's the rules. Thanks. You know, we're having a sleepover. You're having a sleepover.
No shoes in the house.
Oh, yeah. Hey, if you go to the front door, take your shoes off. Make sure you lock the back door. You know, like if you go in and out of the doors, make sure you shut the screen. We do have cats, you know.
The alarm code is 1111.
Right.
Not
and
safe.
Don't go in the tunnel.
All right, kids, have fun.
All right, guys, have fun. If you need anything, you know, I'll be upstairs and your mom will be next door.
What was that thing about the tunnel?
Don't go in the tunnel.
What was that thing about the tunnel? And then the kids who live there, they all go, "Don't go in the tunnel."
all in unison. They all turn slowly. Don't go in the tunnel. You know, I don't. Sometimes we get places and then I look up and I go, what were we talking about?
Well,
oh yeah,
the segue for
this guy's got a carpet cleaning business at 13. Pretty good.
No, he doesn't. He works for a carpet cleaning company.
Okay.
He cleans carpets.
Yeah.
And
back when you could hire 13-year-olds. I wish.
He cleans carpets. The carpet cleaner.
Wait, Blair, you're legal working age, right?
You're old enough to be here, right?
She's 27.
Couldn't tell.
Come back in 3 years when you reach the legal age. Can't work in podcasting until you're 30.
It's a 30-year-old limit.
Yeah.
Minimum. Anyways, so he's cleaning carpets. The guy he works under branched out to do bigger cleaning jobs and started cleaning the rec center that he actually works out at.
Right.
And so he also would work out, and then he would, after his workout...
The 13-year-old?
Yeah. So he would do his workout, and then he would do cleaning.
Jacked from a young age.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so while he's working out there, he does his workout, showers up, and then he goes and starts cleaning the showers. And he's a regular at this gym, so he knows some of the other people who frequent the gym, the other regulars. One of the regulars is like, "Hey, you work for that carpet cleaning company, don't you?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "How much they pay you?" And he's like, "Oh, minimum wage." And he's like, "Well, how much how much those carpet cleaners sell for.
What year is this?
This is early 80s, maybe late 70s.
Okay.
I think this is 1980.
How much those carpet cleaners sell for?
Yeah. And he's like, well, the ones we use like to get everything you need to be able to like up and run with one of these carpet cleaners is about $2,500.
Yeah.
And he's like,
which is $17,000 today.
And he's like, okay. He's like, I'll tell you what. I seen the way you work. Like I see you around here. I see your work ethic both in the gym and also cleaning these showers. And he's like, I can tell you're a hard worker. And he's like, you deserve more than minimum wage. And he's like, I'll buy you one of those on a loan. And he's like, here's the terms of the loan. There'll be interest, the whole thing. It'll be a normal loan. And he's like, you start your business and you start doing this yourself. And he's like, okay, yeah, I think you got a deal. And so he takes up this deal with him. It is weekly interest payments he's got to make.
Okay.
But he's got a full business. So he goes home, he buys this carpet cleaner. He tells his mom, and he's like, I need you to do sales for me.
Hey, I was cleaning the showers at the gym. And a man approached me and said, I know you.
I'll give you $2,500.
Here's $3,000. And the mom, this is the 80s. The mom's like,
the 80s.
All right. That's fine. Yeah.
He goes home and he says, Mom, I need you to do sales.
And she's like, I don't want to do sales. Mom, I need you to do sales. All right.
And so he gives her a phone book, and he writes a script.
She's cold calling.
And he
writes a script?
He writes a script. She cold calls for him.
All right.
And she picks him up a book of business of a bunch of other local homes where he can go do carpet cleaning. But he quickly runs into a problem. He's 13 years old. He can't drive.
He's towing this thing behind his bike.
Well, he can't drive, but here's the bigger problem.
How big is a carpet cleaner?
I mean, in this day, they were big.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. These were not something you could drag behind a bike. Like, you needed a van.
Yeah.
And the bigger problem was he realized really quickly, people don't want you carpet cleaning at 6 o'clock in the evening. They want you to get there first thing in the morning so they get back in the evening and their carpets are dry.
Yes.
And so he was like, being a high school student, was in math class when people wanted him to be carpet cleaning. And so
he's got to hire employees.
He started hiring contractors. He contracted it out at first, but these contract organizations he was contracting out, they were taking too much of a cut. He couldn't keep up with it, so he started hiring employees. And this is working pretty well for him.
Okay.
He's does this for a couple years.
Who's your boss? You know what I'm saying? That's all I can think. It's like, you're like, yeah, dude, boss is riding me really hard right now. I think he's just stressed because he's got a test coming up this week. You know, like, oh, he's just in a bad mood during our meeting. I think he's mad because she said no to prom. You know, like, freaking, how do you as an adult? You know?
I mean, yeah, it's tough. That would be tough.
Hey, man, I'm sorry I took that out on you. Geometry is just really hard this week. How about this? I mean, like, how about this? You want to pick up some extra hours as my tutor? Yeah, so my boss, who manages my payroll, I also gotta, tutor him in spelling on Wednesdays and Thursdays after school. So my daily schedule right now is I clean from, like 9 a.m. till about 2 or 3. And then I tutor my boss on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. That's crazy.
So he branches out pretty quickly, just like the owner of the company he worked for, to do larger cleaning jobs, not just carpet cleaning. And so he's kind of expanding his operation.
Yeah.
And one of the clients he picks up is a client by the name of Rick's Liquor, owned by a guy named Ben. I don't know his last name. But Ben and him kind of hit it off. They become kind of friends.
This is Ben and Barry's.
Ben and Barry's? Are you thinking of Ben and Jerry's?
Oh.
So
Jen and Barry's.
Jen and Barry's. No, so they hit it off. They become like pretty good friends.
Sure.
And so he's always going and doing the cleaning, and then he's just kind of chatting it up with Ben after the clean, like hanging out at the liquor store at 16.
Just chatting it up. Yeah. Yeah.
And so here's the problem. He's got this debt. and the interest is pretty predatory. And he's got weekly payments to make.
This is a guy you met at the showers at the gym.
Yeah.
He's like, hey. Hey, I got a proposal for you. And he's like, this is the men's locker room. I can go wherever I want. I just go wherever I want to go.
I make the dolls, okay?
How about this? You look like a doll. I see your work ethic. Freaking. How about a $15 million loan?
Well, here's the thing. The guy from
the 29% interest rate.
The guy from the gym who loaned them the money. I don't know his name. He doesn't give the guy's name. But he does know. He says this guy was a pretty well-to-do person in the community. He was the father of one of his friends. He was always driving around in a convertible, so he knew he had money. Later on in life.
Yeah, that's a sign of wealth, is if you have less car.
He can't afford a roof.
I can't even put a roof.
Can't even put a roof
over his head. Stupid.
So he later found out that this guy was a part of the mob. That's where his money came from. And so he took a mob loan at 13. And that's why this was such a predatory loan.
Right.
And so he's having a hard time keeping up with that loan. And so he was talking to Ben about it. And Ben was like, well, look, I can kind of give you advances.
Ben's like, I'll take care of that loan. And he's like, okay. And he's like, all you got to do is take this package to this building every Thursday. Okay.
Ben basically is like, I've got a stack of money orders.
You get out from one mob loan and you get into another mob situation.
So Ben's like, look, I got a
You're
stack
pushing
of money
through,
orders.
which means I'm right. Oh, it's sick. I love it.
Ben's like, I got a stack of money orders in the office. He's like, every week I just need you to take those to the bank.
Oh, this is not a joke. Okay. All right.
And he's like, and you can take a fee off of that, and you can pay your interest off of that fee, and you'll be in the clear. And so he's like this, and it was literally perfect. Like he was able to make enough as a fee off of handling those deposits.
Okay.
He's like, I could make enough to make my interest payment, and I was good. And then everything that I made in my business, I kept. And so it's like, it was a perfect arrangement.
And this is where, as a business owner, it's really tough because you can't just hire 13-year-olds on a bike anymore to go do stuff for you. Used to be, we were like, hey, I need this. Like, I don't need you to work every day. Just once a week, I'll give you $20 if you just take this over there.
Well, at this point, he's an established business mogul. He's 16 years old now. He's been running this business for 3 years.
That's right.
He's a mogul.
Yeah.
He can drive now. And so Ben and him established this relationship, and more trust forms. And eventually, Ben's like willing to let him just come in on his own and grab this and whatever, do the whole thing. Well, 1 month was a particularly difficult month for Barry. They lost a couple opportunities. They had some expenses go up, and so he realized, oh shoot, I'm not going to make payroll. And so he was then running the money orders, and he looked at the stack and was like, well, if I take some of the bottom ones from the stack that are going to go through the latest, and I take that, I just take the full money.
Get it back in before.
And I just get it back before. Then I can cover it. He'll never know. We'll be good. I can make payroll. I'm not taking it for myself. I'm going to make payroll.
It's crazy. It's crazy the number, like my mom runs Subways. It's crazy the number of Subway managers who will try to do this because they got to put the cash deposits in and then let's take out $100 and they tell themselves they'll put it back in on Friday.
Yep.
You know?
And like you justify it because he genuinely was like, I'm going to do it to make payroll. I'm not taking this for myself. I'm doing it for my employees.
Yeah.
I'm doing this crime for my employees.
Right.
And so he does that. He takes a little bit off the bottom, not the top, the bottom, goes and makes payroll.
Yep.
Once more money comes in, he puts it back, and he realizes nobody noticed. Nobody said a thing. He got away with it. And so then he it was almost like this curiosity of like,
how much could I
do it again? Like, could I do some more?
That's a trap.
And so he starts just sneaking some. And
not putting it back?
No, he would sneak some and then he'd put it back. And so he was basically like funding growth for his business by sneaking some out of his money orders and putting some back as he grew. And this is working really well. Meanwhile, he meets a guy by the name of Tom Paget. And Tom Paget. And Tom and him, similar to him and Ben, they hit it off. Tom, a little bit about Tom. He is like a 40-year-old insurance adjuster. He served in Vietnam.
Where's he meeting all these older men?
On jobs. He's doing his cleaning.
Where's
he meets an old guy.
Where's he meeting all these older men? The way I sounded, it did sound a little. Ugh. Hey, we just reduced the price of our Patreon to $6.99 a month. That's one price for everybody. You get all the perks. You get the live hangouts. You get to join the Discord. You get early access. Whichever reason you're joining for, we wanted to make it one price because I hate that everything in the world is going up in price. And so we wanted to make this a little bit more affordable for everyone to do. And so, but also, the other goal is that more of you join it so that we can keep funding the show. I mean, like, we're, how do I say that? That sounds like we're poor, and we are.
We are.
And no, but if you can't join us on Patreon, no worries at all. Another way to support the show is by sharing it. Please tell somebody you like the show, and thanks for being here for this episode.
No, he's running this carpet company, which, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this yet. Here, I'll give you a picture of him. His carpet company is called Z Best with 4 Z's.
Okay, because everyone else was doing the trying to be the first thing in the phone book.
Yeah.
They're all A, AA, AAA.
I'll be the very last
And he was
thing.
like,
I want to be the last thing you see.
I want to see the last thing you see as you're done. You close the chapter, you're done reading the phone book.
It's going to be me.
It's gonna be me.
And
Alex isn't here today, by the way.
Yeah.
They fired him. I didn't want to bring it up, but I just feel like we got to address it.
Okay.
We caught him stealing from us.
Yeah. Contrary to what you might think, Alex is the one who pays payroll.
It's interesting.
Out of his own pocket.
and we caught him, and I don't know if you guys know this, but our Patreon is, we get paid in cash for that. Every month, Patreon mails us a box, unmarked, full of cash. and he stole it.
The interesting thing is sometimes there's a toe in there.
No, we do. We make some money from Patreon. How's your podcast funded? Well, we make some money from Patreon, and we have some ad support. And then every month we get an unmarked box in the mail that has $25,000 cash. And we don't know who that's from, but it's been coming for every month for every 5 years. And sometimes there's little notes in there. It's like, hey, talk less about this. And we go, okay.
Okay, well, let's talk less about that.
And the writing looks Russian, and I can tell by the way they wrote that.
That's a Russian.
That's a Russian
handwriting.
It's a Russian accent.
There's a Russian accent on this writing.
Remember what? Anyway, all right.
So he meets this guy Tom, and him and Tom become friends. Tom is a Vietnam veteran. Not technically, I shouldn't say technically. Tom's a neo-Nazi. And something about Barry. Barry is actually Jewish. But they form an unlikely bond, and they become really close. They actually are hanging out. They're genuinely friends. It's weird. It's a weird friendship. Just
Tom can't tell.
Just a 16-year-old guy and a 40-year-old dude who sells insurance hanging out. But they become really good friends. This is going to come up again later, but they become friends.
Okay.
While this friendship is blossoming, Barry's
doing his money thing.
Barry's doing the money thing, but he's like, I wonder what else is out there. I'm making some money doing this money thing. My business is doing decent. I've got a good, clean business, but then I've kind of got this thing where I'm stealing money from my friend. I wonder what else I could do.
Wonder who else I could steal from.
So he starts check kiting, which I don't know if you know what check kiting is. Check kiting is essentially it's not really possible anymore because it's so fast.
You write it where it's like, hey, cash this next week.
Kind of. This was back when there was a float. They called it a float. The time period from between the point you deposit the check and then the point where the funds were in the account.
Right.
But the bank would still allow you. They'd be like, okay, you have this money. We're going to verify it. But then if something happens, it's a bad check. You're going to lose.
Right. You just lost that money.
Yeah. And so he would check kite. And so he would basically write a bad check from one bank account, deposit it to a second bank account that also didn't have the funds for it. And so basically it was an account that didn't have the money. He would send it to an account and then he'd have money, but it was a lie.
Right.
And he basically established all these other businesses that he would be funneling money through with check kiting. And the way he did this is so stressful.
So, hold on. Could you? This bank has $5,000. This bank has $5,000, right? You write a check from this bank to this bank for $10,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this bank has $15,000.
Yeah.
Take the cash out.
Yeah.
Put it in the first bank.
Yes.
Now you have 15 in there.
That's the scheme. Yeah.
And
as long as you stay ahead of it before the clear, you're good. But you have to stay. You cannot miss a second. Like if you're a second late, they catch you.
Okay. That's what I'm like. That is the scheme.
So he starts check kiting, which is a stressful scheme. But
I like that I came up with the scheme in my head. I like that I was able to do that scam. You know? That's fun.
And
that's what I hate about technology. We can't rip people off anymore. Dude.
And then he was like, oh, you know what? My grandma, she's got a pearl necklace. I wonder, and it's insured. I wonder if I steal it.
Oh.
We can get the insurance for it, and then I also can sell it.
Yeah.
So he steals his grandma's necklace, sells it, makes the money off that, gets the insurance payment. She's covered.
And now he's like, a new scheme.
Yeah. And so he is stealing money off the bottom of the liquor store.
Yep.
He's check kiting.
Yep.
He is stealing his grandmother's jewelry. And then his friend
Is he still
Tom,
cleaning carpets at this point?
Yeah, he's got a legitimate
business.
Carpet cleaning business.
Yeah,
that is growing and doing pretty well.
It's like you could just do that, dude.
But here's the thing.
It's nice, freaking the rush.
Here's the thing, though. The check kiting and both the check kiting and the money order thing he's doing with the liquor store, he can't keep up with it on those things alone. So the carpet cleaning business is what's funding those from not getting caught. So he's putting money back in to not get caught, but then he's taking money from those so that way he can live the lavish lifestyle. And so his business is kind of this weird thing that's keeping him from getting caught. If he hadn't started it,
if he just hadn't started it, the business would make enough money for him to just live the lavish lifestyle legitimately.
But he's 16.
That's crazy.
So he calls his friend Tom, and he's like, "Hey Tom, I got an idea." He's like, "I just stole my grandma's."
Tom, neo-Nazi, divorced,
never married.
Oh, even better. Is just like, "What's up, my 16-year-old friend? Yeah, let's go skate."
Yeah. So he says, "Hey, I would love it. I like just robbed my grandma. She got an insurance payout for it."
Hey, what's up with you, man? Oh, wow. I was heading out to the lake for the weekend. What are you up to? I just robbed my grandma. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was calling a couple questions. One, I got this this check kiting thing I'm doing. Two, I do have a big test coming up on Friday. Could you maybe help me make some flashcards and study?
And also, have you ever thought about armed robbery?
And also, has our friendship changed your opinion of the Jewish people?
Because that's my whole.
Because it's kind of part of.
That's kind of part of why I'm here. I'd like to kind of change your mind a little bit.
Yeah.
And so he basically convinces Tom. And here's the thing that you should understand by this point: Barry is a very convincing. Young man.
He's got charisma.
Yeah, he's got the charisma.
You can't pull this kind of stuff off if you don't got personality and charisma.
Yeah, and he really plays the young entrepreneur, the child prodigy, I'm making something in my life kind of coin a lot. And people they buy it.
They like that.
Yeah, they are big fans of him. So much to the point where a local bank, and this is not a big bank, this is a small local bank, gives him a loan at 16 years old, which they're not supposed to do. They're not supposed to get a loan before 18.
Come on, it's Barry.
But it's Barry, and he's building a business, and he's got dreams. We'll do it. We'll do it. And so he's able to.
And the guy at the liquor store vouches for him.
Yeah, the guy at the liquor store does.
And
then there's that guy that shot everybody.
That guy that killed my friend told me I should give him the loan.
I have to give him the loan, or he's going to kill me too.
That guy held me upside down by my feet over the river.
He said, "Listen, that kid owes me money.
Hey, you're going to..." This very plump woman held me by my ankles.
And now that I think about it, she had 8 legs.
She
kind of resembled a spider.
She made those dolls
She kept talking about the dolls, but I don't know what that means.
She was like, I'm going to sick my dolls on you. And you're like, what?
What are you talking about?
And then the next thing I knew, I woke up and I was back in my bed, tucked in.
This bit is chaotic. With last episode.
With a little doll version of me laying next to me. But its head was gone.
But I could still tell it was me.
But I could still tell
it had a name tag with my name.
This is an American Boy doll, isn't it?
No. Yeah. It had a name tag that said Headless Tim.
Why don't you just pause for a second? Go listen to the last episode so you can catch up. All right. Blair, can you timestamp that? Sorry. Yeah. Blair, can you timestamp that so we know where to go?
So he talks to Tom, and he's like, hey, she got a big insurance payout for the robbery. And so he's like, can you help me fake some robberies for insurance payouts?
Yes, of course.
So he talks Tom into it. Tom does not want to be involved in this, but he talks Tom into it.
He's like, come on, man.
Come on, just like do some insurance fraud with me.
Do it. Now you're 40, a neo-Nazi, being held over the river by your ankles by a 16-year-old Jewish boy.
Single, sad, PTSD from the war.
Yeah, you know.
What's a little bit of insurance fraud at this point?
What's some fraud at this point?
I haven't achieved my dreams.
Do it. You know, his voice, he's like.
He's still prepubescent at 16.
Do it. I want you to do it. So I went to my nephew's baseball game this weekend, and they do these pre-recorded, like, you know, the walk-up songs and all that stuff. And so they record it for both teams. And it's very funny because he's at that age where some of these voices are pretty high still.
They crack, And
so they're like, you know, Braden Fisher. And then you can tell the kids who are like, Braden Fisher.
They're trying to
they're trying to make their voice say it. And then it's like, but one kid, his walk-up song was the Making My Way Downtown. It was pretty sick.
That's hilarious.
I was like, I love it as your walk-up song.
That's pretty sick. That is actually cool.
Because all the other kids are doing like the
songs,
it's like bum, dum, you know, and this kid is and he's like, yeah, this gets me hype. I'm gonna knock this one out of the pan. And he struck out, but it was the heart, it was the spirit that I liked. I appreciated it. And then he held me by my ankles. Do it.
There's a kid on my football team in high school who everybody would be listening to.
So he was hanging over the river, holding him by his ankles, and he's just like, hey. And then what happened?
And then he like convinced him to start this.
No, come on.
Leave it.
Stand up for yourself.
I was just gonna leave
stand up for yourself.
It's funnier if I just leave it. Okay,
all right.
Fine. Sorry, I'll stand up. So
that was not funny.
Sorry.
That was not funny at all.
Sorry, I won't.
Nothing about that was funny.
Sorry.
I'll be the judge of that.
No, so he listened to like Jack Johnson and Colby Calais to like pump him up for football games. And he'd be sitting there and he would have the big headphones and he'd sit in the corner of the locker room with his eyes closed. And it'd just be like that bubbly song. And everybody else is getting hype. Yeah. And he's just in there like this. And I wish I could say he went, but then would go out on the field and rip people's heads off. But he was like, just like a good player. Like he wasn't.
Yeah, it could have been better if he got this playlist.
Yeah, like a hype playlist.
Yeah, you know what I was listening to? Pre-Republican Skillet. It was a wild time. 2006, man. They put out. Go listen to. Was it Collide? Is that the album title?
It's actually
rebirthing title, like the.
It's pretty good. God, I want to hate it, but it's pretty
good. Dude, it was great.
I saw them at a free show.
Yeah? They were all free, I think.
Really?
I think that's like their whole thing. I don't know.
Interesting. Well, I saw them at a free show, and the pyrotechnics was crazy.
Yeah. That's kind of like, cool. That's like their thing for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, I also had another kid on my football team who I just have to get this out. He would always leave food in his pants before the game so he could pull them out and eat them mid-game, like on the field. And I'm not exaggerating. One day,
football pants don't have pockets,
Nope.
so you're gonna have to describe to us where these were.
Hey, you know exactly where they were.
His cup was full of
just snacks,
peanut butter and jelly.
And bro, I'm not kidding. I am not.
He's like straight up like you guys are set, right? And he's just pulling out an Uncrustable.
And I will say, he was the best guy on the team.
He was
ripping kids' heads off.
He really destroyed those deaf and blind kids we played. That's not a joke, by the way. Tim's school played the deaf and blind kids in football.
That is true. We did play the deaf and blind school. But this is not a joke. One day at a game, pulls a shish kebab out of his pants and like eats it and throws the stick out. Insane behavior.
I mean, imagine you're across the line. Like a full kebab.
Full kebab.
Just
eats everything off of it.
How long was it? This is the third quarter. It's been in there for a while.
It's crazy. He was insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Anyways,
okay, so he convinces them, let's do some robberies,
some fake burglary.
Sure.
They're getting insurance money from that.
Yeah.
And then there's so many frauds he's running that all require him to fund from his legitimate business to like pay back so he doesn't get caught. So he needs his legitimate business to pay back the way he's like bringing in money.
Right.
But his business is now not big enough to support this. So he has to open up offices and locations to grow the business. And so he becomes a brick and mortar ZZZZ carpet and furniture cleaning company.
ZZZZ.
And
don't sleep on us. That would have been my tag for that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Pretty sick.
Pretty good.
Yeah, right. I'm really good at this stuff.
Except for if they clean your sheets and the messages don't sleep on us.
You do sleep on us.
And you do
sleep on us.
Sleep on us, but don't sleep on us.
Y'all are sleeping on Mattress Firm. That's funny. That's a good campaign. Yeah. There you go. Mattress Firm. Here's some free ideas for you. 1, do some better marketing. 2, quit laundering. Whatever you're doing. Sketchy.
Stop.
We're on to you. I don't know what kind of partnership you guys set up with Aspen Dental.
So they are stretching the business so that way it can meet the demands of his frauds. But he's not able to stretch it far enough. Mm-hmm. And so he gets the idea. Tom, check it out. You're doing insurance over here, whatever, fine. Let's open up a restoration business where we're going to go into businesses that have fires.
Water damage, fires, all this
earthquake.
Stuff. It's construction adjacent.
Yeah, we're going to restore it.
Smart.
And you're going to handle the insurance claim.
All of construction is money laundering, by the way. I mean, like almost. Why are you laughing? I mean, like, dude, every, And let's say that there's someone who like really wanted to do a lot of construction. It was just like really everything they talk about is the next thing they want to construct. You'd be like, seems like you might want to launder some money through that construction cost.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to resurface the pool and we got to tear down this side of our house and we got to put up some stuff in the yard. And you're like,
like a nice archway over there.
Seems like you're laundering some money through this. But that's just my opinion.
So they start
pretty obvious frauds.
Start a restoration company.
This is where it's like this is the height of this stuff where it's like it's not caught on yet. This is the stuff that these industries are more regulated now because of the number of people who are
doing stuff like this.
Frauding.
Yes, exactly. So him and Tom, they start doing these restoration schemes.
Right.
Where what they do is he basically goes somewhere in town. He lives in Los Angeles. He finds a building that looks kind of old and run down.
Yeah.
And he takes a bunch of pictures of it and he sends it to Tom and he says, we're restoring this building. And Tom, as the insurance agent, basically creates a fake insurance contract with his company and is like, yeah, we have this company. And then he's like, oh, it's damaged. It needs to be restored. This company's going to restore it. And he does the whole deal. And the insurance company, and he's the adjuster. So he does everything, approves it, and then gets the payout, and then they get the money. Here's the thing.
And they don't do anything.
Here's the thing, though. Yeah, they don't do any work. The the building doesn't even know.
It's just fraud.
It's just complete fraud. Like the building owner has no idea a claim was taken out on their building.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. He's not paying Tom. Barry's not paying Tom for any of this. It's just like a favor.
Tom's just doing this for the love of the game?
For a favor. He's like, I'm helping a friend. This is helping him build his business. And like,
I'm putting my entire livelihood and career on the line.
Yeah.
For this 16-year-old boy. Huh.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Crazy indeed.
And so, long story short, they do this for a little bit, and it eventually costs Tom his job because he gets caught. That's what I'm
saying.
So Tom gets caught. It costs him his job.
Yeah, so Barry calls him up. He's like, "Hey, man, I just found this building that we go." He goes, "Okay, I'm gonna live there."
Okay,
You're like, "What?
Fired.
I got fired. I'm gonna live in that building. I'm a homeless man now." So this went from me being a sad guy that was friends with a 16-year-old to you being a weird guy who's friends with a homeless guy. So
it's weird because you're friends with the homeless
how
guy.
The tables have turned.
The weird thing is you being friends with the
It's weird guy. That you're friends with a homeless guy. It's weird that you're friends with that homeless guy. That sounds like something that someone like shouts during a breakup.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, you never listen to me. And it's weird that you're friends with that homeless guy. You know? Just like, what?
It's not even like you were lifelong friends.
You just made friends with this guy, and now he's at our barbecue all the time?
All the time.
In our backyard most nights.
Most nights, because he's got nowhere to go.
And, like, he sleeps back there? Oh, boy, am I sick. I sure do need Tim Stone's Get Well Quick Trick. And what is it? It's... simply chug an entire gallon of orange juice. Wow, I forgot. And then this shirt reminded me. I'm so glad that I have this shirt as a public service announcement, a public health service to other people around me. Do your part. Get this shirt. Shop.TILLN.com.
And so he basically tells Tom, like, Tom is like, I can't do this for you anymore, man. I lost my job. Like, I'm going to lose everything. I cannot help you anymore.
Yeah.
And so Tom tries to cut a line and be like, this is over.
and Barry's like, you don't want to do that.
Barry's like, hey, but what about Debbie? And here's the thing.
Who's
Tom
Debbie?
had a crush on this woman named Debbie. And he had this big dream that he's told Barry all about, that one day they would marry and they would get a beach house together. And he's like, we're so close, man. We're so close. You could get the beach house.
Yeah.
You could impress Debbie. You could marry her. She'll move with you to the beach house. We just got to do one more.
And
job.
she's like, he's really funny. And like, you know, he's like, he got a good business and all that. I think the thing I don't like about him is that he's a Nazi. I think the thing I don't like is that he was a huge fan of a person whose name I can't even say on the podcast because YouTube would censor us.
Yeah. It's also weird that he's friends with that 16-year-old.
It's also weird that he's friends with that homeless guy.
But Barry's basically like, hey, if we do one more good job,
one more
big job, like
always one more.
that thing.
Yeah, no, come on.
And he talks Tom into it. So together,
Tom with his non-insurance job now. How are you gonna do this?
They start Interstate Appraisal Services.
Okay.
And so this company exists for them to go create construction jobs and then go to a bank and secure a loan for that construction job.
And then not construct it.
And then, the job doesn't exist. And basically, the whole plan
But isn't the loan that they're giving you based on having the asset?
So the whole plan is they go get the loan.
Uh-huh.
Tom does all the paperwork. Barry does all the schmoozing. Barry's 18 at the time.
Come on.
Yeah, he just smooshes the bank.
He's got to be real hot to pull this off, to be honest. Like, there's no way. No one's letting an 18-year-old loser do this stuff, right? You know, I mean, he's not. You know, like I'm saying, like, he just doesn't got it. He doesn't have it.
He doesn't have it.
He doesn't have
it. I know. He's just very convincing. He's a smooth talker.
He's just like, yeah,
he's
man,
a smooth talker.
Okay.
He's really good at selling the young entrepreneur dream.
Yeah.
Like, he's selling the American dream to all these bankers, and he's like, I'm achieving it. Like, I'm coming out of poverty because, like, he did. Like, he was in a household where like the water was shut off.
I know that it's like, this is so like pull that back up. I do want a nameplate. You know, like I just and you can't get it for yourself.
Pens.
You know?
Yeah, it's weird to get it for yourself. I'll get it for you.
I want one so bad that's just on my desk.
Yeah.
You know, so people know.
Yeah. Jaron Myers, chairman of Jaron Myers.
Chairman of the board? Pretty, I mean.
Yeah.
Call me Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
I like that.
So they
change my name in the Discord to Mr. Chairman.
They start interstate appraisal services.
Right now it's Carnival Big Bucks. Because I make all the big money on the Carnival cruise.
What is mine? I don't remember. Sergeant Redacted.
Sergeant Redacted.
So they start interstate appraisal services, and the whole scheme here is they create all the paperwork. They go get a loan for a big construction project.
Right.
The plan is our paperwork is so buttoned up, our presentation is so buttoned up that nobody ever leaves the bank to do due diligence.
Yeah, no one ever goes to the address to see what they're
just
buying.
Trust us.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so they do these projects that are outside the metro, so it takes a little bit of work to get there.
Yeah, it's kind of far.
No one's going to know what is going on out there just like off the top of their head, and no one's going to be able to verify that they're doing it. And they're just going to keep the loans coming in, and they're going to pay off the last loan
Ponzi
with the next loan. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
This
this will work.
Yeah. And they run this for a couple years.
Yeah.
They take down a bank because this bank, they literally created a run on this bank, and they eventually that washed their loans. So this is perfect. We can keep running. We got an influx of cash from this bank we don't have to pay back because we took out too much of a loan from them.
So now our plan is to sink banks.
Sink banks. No,
forget those people's accounts and retirement and their mortgages.
But here's the thing.
This is what happened to the Lehman Brothers.
This is getting really big. He also started a flower company. This is kind of a side story. He started a flower company, and he was doing credit card scams. And so with the flower company, he would sell floral arrangements, and then whatever, if it was a $200 bill, he'd charge them $600. And then when they called to be like, "Hey, you charged me way more," he'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
my fat finger missed the 2 and went straight to the 6."
He'd say, "Oh, dang." He's like, "You know what? We've got a dishonest employee. We already fired him. We caught him for this. I'm so sorry." He's like, "We'll pay you back. You'll see it hit your account. We'll take care of it with the bank." And he would just not take care of it. And he would trust that they would trust him. And it almost always worked. They would almost always trust him.
They would just never check their statement to see if the money came back?
Well, they would wait long enough to where they couldn't dispute the charge anymore. And so then he just walked with the money. And they got stuck with that extra $600.
Oh, I wouldn't let him get away with that.
Well, somebody didn't. And so there was a guy by the name of, let me pull up this guy's name.
I wouldn't let him get away with that.
The Swanson family.
The flower company is what takes him down?
The Swanson family. No.
Oh,
the Swanson family.
That'd be so funny if he just ripped off the wrong guy.
The Swanson family.
You do this whole elaborate, you're in with the mob, you're doing this whole elaborate thing with the insurance guy, you're dangling Debbie in front of him like, "Hey, Debbie. And then he's like, Debbie. And he'll do whatever you want. Debbie. And yeah. Oh, wait. Debbie. And so you're doing this whole, and then you rip one guy off on a flower charge that you made $100 on. And he's like,
it all comes crumbling down.
He worked at the bank. You cost that guy his job. You sank his bank.
You sank my bank.
But the flowers.
You sank my bank.
The flowers
are where I draw the line. No. So this guy goes and he gets a small claim. He goes to small claims.
Yeah.
To sue him for it. And he shows up. He
for what? For the
$500 difference in the credit card fee.
Okay. But it was the flowers.
It was the flowers. Yeah. And so this guy
That's what I said. I said, was this a flower company? No.
It didn't sink him. So this guy shows up. This guy shows up to hand him the court papers, to serve him the papers. And he shows up to one of where their office is, and he tries to serve him the papers. And yeah, that's what he does. And someone who's
very fully just dances around the room. He's like, no, not
important.
It's like you're playing tag with.
Barry is 19 at this point.
Yeah.
And it's important to note he is now living a millionaire lifestyle.
Yeah.
He's in Los Angeles. He's driving the sports cars. He's got a posse of bodyguards.
Right.
Like he's living large at this point. And so he sicks one of his bodyguards on this guy, and they just start beating him up. They take his glasses, they smash the guy's glasses, and the whole time Barry's just sitting there cheering on his bodyguards, like, yeah, get him, come on. And so all over like $400, which is very interesting because we do know this has happened multiple times where he's done these credit card schemes and people have shown up trying to get the money, and he's just been like, whatever, I'll pay you $400. Because the way he lives his life, he lives on cash.
Right.
And so he's always just got a few $1,000s cash on him. He's like,
So
whatever, I'll just
he gives
give
him
you the
$400?
cash. I don't care. Like it's nothing to me at this point. But for some reason in this case, he's like,
it's because the guy tried to sue him.
he's like, I'm gonna beat you.
Yeah.
And so his people beat him up. And I don't know how he got away with this. Like, I think the story to remember here is he's such a smooth talker. He gets away with everything. There are multiple times where people are suspicious of him, and he talks his way out of it.
Yeah.
So this whole scheme is growing. He's got like a Ponzi scheme going. He's got a check kiting scheme going. He's got insurance fraud going. He's got fake robberies going. Like it's the scale of this is crazy.
Yeah, no, I do have I gotta go do a carpet clean at 9, and then and then we have a meeting with the bank at 2, and then I have a fake robbery at 4. I can't miss that. I have to be there to sell it.
And this is continuing to be a thing where as this bubble grows,
Right.
he needs to bring in more money. So he keeps expanding ZBest.
Right.
So ZBest is now nationwide. ZBest is now nationwide. He's 19 years old. He's flying from New York to LA multiple times a week as he's growing this business.
This is where my business is going as well.
And so
I'm starting a cleaning company.
So he's in New York.
Called Encore Cleaning. And I got to tell you, because if I don't follow through, you guys can embarrass me on it. But I have a cleaning company, and we're going to scam some folks.
And so he's
It's on our website. This is a sting.
He's in New York, and he's kind of doing the socialite thing in New York. He's starting up the thing. And he meets
you
a guy.
wanted me to bring up my whole cleaning company. I bring it up, and you go, he's in New York.
I know. I've got a lot to cover still.
Oh, shoot. And we're getting hungry.
He meets a guy by the name of Jack Catane. Jack Catane.
Catan.
T-A-I-N. Catane.
Okay.
And he basically is like, tell me about your business. And they're talking, and, they got cigars, they got
in
whiskeys.
Jack's head, he's like, this is a scam.
And he's like, well, what are you struggling with?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, he's like, I've got some financing problems. He's like, it's hard to keep up with payroll. I've got so many employees across the country. It's hard to keep up with it. I've also got all these scams I'm running.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up. Well, Jack, he's in the mob. And Jack is like, well, I think I could help you with that. And he's like, I gotta help you out with some financing.
Yeah.
And so he takes out a massive loan with the mob to be able to meet payroll.
Nice.
And he's going to pay weekly points on it. As long as he just keeps things going. And so he keeps expanding, having to pay this loan for the mob.
Right.
At 20 years old, he's back in LA. He meets another guy in the mob. This other guy in the mob is like, hey, that's a predatory loan that guy has got you on. That East Coast mob, they're no good. Come work with the West Coast mob. Like we'll get you. And so he's like, I'll get you out of that loan. We'll take care of that loan. You don't have to worry about it. We'll take care of that loan. We'll give you a new one, better rate. And so he gets a new loan, better rate. This guy comes in and becomes like an advisor. This is by a guy by the name of Robert Vigiano. And
yeah. So yeah, let's get you out of the New York mob. You don't want to be with them. Come to us on the West Coast. All right. Yeah. Come to us at Wells Fargo. Because really, as you explain it, I just go, this kind of starts to seem like banks are mobs.
Kinda. And so Vigiano is a convicted jewel thief who's out now.
Yeah.
He brings in his associate Maurice Rind, who's a convicted of securities fraud.
Sure.
And they become advisors under ZBest. ZBest is now a nationwide company. They're huge.
Right.
And they start laundering drug profits through ZBest. And so ZBest is now doing really well. But again, as the company grows and as all of these schemes grow, the amount of revenue that has to come into to support it is just massive.
Yep.
And they've got to the point where they can't use they can't go to big banks because big banks do their due diligence for all their things.
Right.
They have to go to small banks or the mob, and they can't do any more of that.
Right.
They're too big. And so they come up with a scheme. They say, okay, the last place we can really go to fund this is the New York Stock Exchange. If we can go public, we can bring in an influx of cash.
Defraud the investors.
We can bring in an influx of cash, and we never have to pay that back. And then we can go clean. We can stop all the fraud. We can go clean and be a cleaning company. And so the plan is, let's take it public. The problem is taking that public is kind of hard to do.
Right.
And so they bring in the restoration company under ZBest. They have the cleaning company, and it's all becomes one big mega company. And they go to take it public on the stock exchange. But there is a lot of regulation, a lot of rules, a lot of audits that you have to go through. So they bring in an accountant who is going to clean up everything and help it look legitimate. Long story short, over the course of his time with them, this accountant, what's the word I'm looking for? Not fabricates, forges 10,000 documents.
Nice.
To make them look legitimate. And I don't know how he got away with it, because this is like the 80s. So it's whiteout and pen.
Yeah.
It cleared. The word that was used is savant when it comes to forgery. And so he is just incredibly talented at forgery.
Savant.
And basically they're like, okay, well, we got to see the restoration.
He just had a printer at home. He had his own printer.
He's so good. Wait, dude,
how does he do this?
How does he do it? So here's
the time traveler.
They need the last thing that they need to verify everything is they need to see the restoration company in action. And they're like, okay, we'll show you all the paperwork. We've got a project up in Sacramento. It's 3 hours away. We've got a project up in Sacramento. It's great. And they do all the paperwork. They show them all the pictures. Yeah. They're like, well, we want to go on site and see it. And they're like,
it's so hard to get to.
It's like pretty far. And they're like, no, like we would love to go. Like we'll meet you up there here's a date. We'll meet you up there. And he's like, we'll figure something. We'll invite you. And so they go up, they hurry up to Sacramento, and they just drive around town trying to find a building that meets the description of the building that they gave them. And they told them that they had it was like a 6-story tower that they were working on. The biggest tower they could find was a 3-story. And so they go in, they basically were like, they negotiate with the owners because it was mostly vacant. And so they were like, we'll rent the whole thing from you guys. But the one thing we have, our attorneys need to come look at it, and our attorneys have to see it. But there's some other tenants, and they didn't want anybody to say something. This is a brand new building that is not in need of any restoration.
Right.
So they were trying to tell them that it was like they just finished. And so like, well, we can't be there on a weekday where there's going to be other people there. So they agree. They get access on a Sunday to show up with their attorneys to do a walk through this building and be like, yeah, the project was originally going to be 6 stories, but there was some construction issues. And so we ended up pulling it back down to 3 and leaving it at 3 and like all this stuff. And you can come tour it. And they were pretty confident as they walked them through this. They were like, the attorneys, the way they were responding, they were seeing through the facade. Like they knew like this is not legitimate. And so they leave that day. And they go back home and they all move out of their...
We got.
They all move out of their places. They all like go skip town. They go to their safe houses. And a month later, ZBest Carpet Cleaning went public on the NASDAQ because they bought it.
What was this ticker? Like ZBST?
I don't know what the ticker was, but I do know that after the IPO, they were a $600 million company. And they became incredibly wealthy.
That's crazy.
He bought a home in just outside Beverly Hills. He got a pool in the backyard. He put a giant Z in the bottom of the pool. Lamborghinis, Ferraris, the whole nine. And for a couple of years, he was actually the youngest founder to ever go public on the stock exchange at 21 years old. And this became a huge deal. Like he milked this. And so he wrote a book called Making It in America, 18 years old and $1 million. He was on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and the subtitle that they gave for his role is hilarious.
Young and rich. Barry Minko, young and rich.
And then he put together this massive...
That's all it took to get you on Oprah back then.
Just be young and rich.
Be young and rich. Have you tried being young and rich?
Have you tried being young and rich? And then he put together this massive nationwide ad campaign. he really milked the fact that he was this like
Yeah.
genius entrepreneur that took this company public. But here's the thing.
It was the mob.
While he was doing all this credit card fraud,
Mm-hmm.
he defrauded the Swanson family, who I said was the one that he punched, a different family.
Okay.
But he had defrauded them of a couple $100s in one of these credit card schemes. And she didn't forget this.
Yeah.
And she is very upset about it. And she sees him on Oprah. She sees the books. She sees the ads. She sees him public on the stock exchange.
He's a scammer.
She starts asking around her community, and everybody is like, yeah, he like took some money off the top from us. And so she basically does this nationwide campaign calling their customers and compiling these stories of people that he's defrauded and the bank that he got shut down and the loans that were sketchy. All the people that he had met, there was a specific banker who caught them. He took them. There was a day he tried to get a loan. He showed up at the bank and they had this closed door meeting, and the banker sat down with him and he was like, I know what you're doing. And was like, I looked at your paperwork, and he's like, this is clearly a Ponzi scheme. And Barry's
like, and out of this pocket, a full kebab.
Took a bite out of it. That's a power move.
It is a power move to eat an Uncrustable as an adult anywhere in public.
And so Barry talks his way out of it, though. He's like, do you really think the owners of your bank are going to want it going public that an 18-year-old was defrauding the bank? I don't think you want that. And I don't think you want to be the one who got. And he's like, at the end of the day, I'm just an entrepreneur. I'm just trying to make the American dream happen. And I'm not doing it because I want to get rich. I'm doing it to make payroll. And he talks his way out of it. And so she gets that banker. And she basically gets this whole stream of people who have evidence of like, this has been a fraud the whole time.
Yeah.
And she takes it to the LA Times and they publish a story. And that day, the stock drops 40%. And everything crumbles.
Yeah.
The mob comes coming for their money. The SEC comes coming for them. Everybody starts investigating them. And long story short, by the end of that year, he's convicted 25 years on 57 counts of fraud. And him and all of his associates get sentences. And so he serves a 7-year sentence.
Talks his way out of it.
Well, yeah, he gets out on good behavior because early in the sentence, he finds the Lord and he leaves prison and he starts a church.
Yeah.
And he became a pastor.
Yeah.
In the early 2000s.
Okay.
And he also started a business, and this business would find companies that were committing fraud and report them to the SEC, and basically like publicize this company's doing fraud. And in 2009,
I'm just so tired of all this stuff, man. This is crazy.
In 2009, he tried this on a company called, he tried this. So the way the company would work is he would go and he would like publicize a report, basically like a whistleblower type report that, hey, this company is doing some sort of financial crime. And he would like put that out in like a magazine and like publish it.
Yeah.
And so
on his blog.
Yeah. It was called the Fraud Discovery Institute.
Okay.
And it would just uncover corporate fraud.
The FDI.
And he did this throughout the majority of the early 2000s. And then in 2009, he targeted a company called the Lennar Corp. And he said it was a financial crime in progress. Their stock plummets after he releases this. And the problem was Lennar Corp was the biggest company he ever went after. Mm-hmm. And Lennar was like, we're not going to let you get away with this.
Yeah.
And so Lennar sues him. They win a $583 million judgment against him because they found out he completely lied. And in discovery, they found out that his entire business was a short scheme. And so he would go buy shorts on these companies and then publish the fact that they were frauding people, and then their stock would plummet and he would profit massively. And in discovery, they discovered that he embezzled $3 million from the church he started, and on multiple occasions was taking checks and copying checks and writing checks in people's names from his congregation and embezzling money out of his congregation. Church. So in 2009, he gets sentenced to another 5 years for the Lennar conspiracy.
Oh my gosh.
And then 5 more years for the church fraud. And so he gets 10 years. He ends up getting out in 2019. So he serves the full 10.
Okay.
Marries his ex. And now he is now he's doing a couple things.
Okay.
One, he has a company called It's Your Stomach.
Did I not call it earlier? Did I not call that he sells like DVDs of workouts?
You did.
Is he selling supplements?
It's like a workout nutrition company.
That is the easiest thing to get into for a grift, for sure.
Read this slogan.
Because the underbelly of men is their underbelly. Oh, not a diet, but a sustainable nutrition program. Not exercise, but training that you can't read because the website's designed poorly.
Yeah.
That factor in a busy schedule and safety. Not temporary change, but permanent lifestyle transformation. Not spot losing, but complete health. Give us 90 days to reset your physiological forever. Reset your physiological forever?
I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Designed for all those who, like us, have failed in the past.
But not anymore.
Oh, Barry. Have you failed in the past?
But he's also doing the influencer thing.
Yeah.
Talking about fraud, putting a light on fraud, doing the podcast circuit.
Okay.
Guesting on podcasts. And he's like allegedly whistleblowing again, which means he's probably doing the short stuff. And he's portraying this message that he understands that God is a God of second chances, and this is his second chance in life. His second chance.
Third chance in life. My gosh, man.
And so he's out there right now.
That's what's crazy.
This.
You know what though? I think he had a legitimate business.
I genuinely think what happened is he got in over his skis.
Yeah.
At 13 years old.
You're right. And then there's just nowhere to go.
Realize
nowhere to go.
The mess he was getting himself in.
Right.
And made such a big problem. Because right now, he's at a point where he's on the hook for $612 million in restitution from every case he's been involved in.
He served 7 years, comes out, serves another 10, and is just like, life is long.
Yeah.
I've done 17 years in jail total.
Yeah. And honestly, wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And I've seen the peaks.
Yeah. It's worth it. Yeah. Because
it comes back to our age-old podcast question. How much time would you do in jail if, like, let's say you serve 10 years, but you come out and you have $600 million? Or, if you could live the next 50 years, 50, we're old. Let's call it 35 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could live the next 35 years.
Yeah.
Rich.
Yeah.
Rich. But those last 10 to 15 you got to spend in jail?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, you kind of are if you're going to go to a nursing home.
I think that's kind of what I'm saying. Is like,
yeah.
Some of these guys are looking at the pros and cons and being like, I mean, if I'm going to be old and in care anyway, and most of those prisons for people of that age are like nursing homes anyway. Yeah. So it's like, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't think we have enough of a hammer down on him.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good question.
It's not. It's not something we're considering. It's not something that we're thinking about. It's a good question. I guess I should probably consider.
I should think about some fraud.
No, we're not
think about doing
gonna do fraud.
But he did at his peak, right after the stock market, right after they went public on the stock market, before everything came crumbling down.
Yeah,
his net worth peaked at $200 million.
Yeah.
The company was like a $500 million company. Tom got the beach house. This is actually crazy. Tom got the beach house.
Debbie.
No, he didn't get Debbie, but he did get the beach house. But his first day in the beach house was the day the House of Cards came crumbling down. So like he had it for a day.
Oh, that's funny.
Which is pretty brutal.
Couldn't even stand on his back porch and play the fiddle as it all crumbled around him, huh? Hey, thanks for being here for this episode of Things I Learned Last Night. If you liked it and you like other mob stories, you should check out the McDonald's Monopoly scam. Apparently, the entire time we were all playing McDonald's Monopoly, it was never possible for us to win. So go check that out. You can check out next week's episode right now on Patreon. It's ad-free. There's a Discord. And we have a hangout every month. Every month we do a live hangout where we get to just joke around and get to know you guys better. So thanks for supporting the show. We hope that we'll see you next time. And share this with somebody, please. It would really help grow the show.